I firmly believe that Godzilla has broken an important barrier that we don't discuss enough. And this is probably going to be possibly a controversial Godzilla hot take. I don't know. I will see how you all react. But one thing that I've really appreciated lately has been the thoughtful conversations on growing up with Godzilla. I think the thing I love most is that I get to learn from other people why they like certain films, including films that I may not strongly appreciate. And these conversations have really made me think about Godzilla's staying power and how he has broken through the important barrier of maintaining staying power and relevance and a contemporariness that we don't see other franchises achieving necessarily. And I think the answer to Godzilla's timelessness is the franchise's versatility. Now, here is where the controversial hot take comes in. Where and when did Godzilla begin demonstrating considerable versatility? Right? Valid question. So I would argue back in 2004, remember Godzilla Final Wars came out. I feel like at that point in time, there was a lot of Godzilla fatigue. We had the 1998 film, we had subsequent Godzilla films, like multiple years in a row of varying different successes, and Godzilla Final Wars did not perform to expectations, and Toho was like, we're putting Godzilla on hiatus until further notice. Many of you will remember how depressed we all were during that time because we literally thought we would never see Godzilla again. And then fast forward to 2014, Legendary releases, the MonsterVerse, starts the MonsterVerse, and the movies are very staggered and spaced out. But then, after seeing the success of the MonsterVerse, Toho realizes, oh, there still is something worth value in the IP that is Godzilla. So they decide to make Shin Godzilla. Now, if you go back and read interviews after Shin Godzilla's theater run, you will see that, the powers that be at Toho did not really anticipate Shin Godzilla's success whatsoever. In fact, I kind of determined that they were a little bit just avoiding the conversation of let's not worry about success right now. Let's just put it out there. And much to their surprise, Shin Godzilla was extremely successful. And more importantly, it was successful because it took the original Godzilla story and modified it to fit contemporary events and audiences. And it blew up. And I mean, it just had a 4K restoration theater run here in the United States, and it demonstrated some success as a result too. And the unexpected success of Shin Godzilla has demonstrated that Godzilla films are at the point where they can transcend the kind of genre that Godzilla has been boxed in for 70 years. This genre of kind of science fiction, fantasy, horror, And don't get me wrong, there were those in Shin Godzilla, those genre aspects, but the thing that Shin Godzilla does is it transcends the genre boundary of shifting from not only being a horror movie, but also to being a political, a socio-political commentary. And I thought that was very interesting, especially considering things that have been happening over the last decade or so. And I think that they probably felt that this socio-political commentary would not go anywhere and that it would be lost on a lot of people. And I'm not going to lie, Shin Godzilla has been pretty galvanizing for a lot of people, but a lot of people, especially those who find it galvanizing, cannot deny that the film broke barriers in the sense that it allowed Godzilla to branch out beyond those particular genres, right? And this is going to be an even more controversial hot take. I think that the Godzilla anime trilogy and Singular Point, despite the amount of criticism they get, were very healthy for the Godzilla franchise to do and were a natural next step. Them realizing that that Shin Godzilla allowed for some experimentation. They decided to take that experimentation a little bit further. Franchise has demonstrated that it's healthy, and we got the anime trilogy. The anime trilogy was not wildly successful, nor was Singular Point. Granted, we could debate about that until the end of time, but I firmly believe that if Toho did not allow itself to experiment with Godzilla through those series of 4 films and TV show, we would have never gotten the resounding success of Godzilla Minus One. In fact, I don't think we would have gotten Godzilla Minus One at all. Okay? Because Godzilla Minus One also experiments with the character by making it a piece of historical fiction when you think about it, when you think of like the time in which it takes place, etc., and how it kind of like really just takes the audience back in time, and it elevates the human narrative in a way that we've not seen very often in a Godzilla film. So I firmly believe that is how Godzilla has demonstrated staying power. Godzilla has demonstrated staying power through experimentation, and realizing that through experimentation there is versatility, and versatility is what makes for a healthy, thriving franchise. And that's why now they are considering doing sequels to Shin Godzilla and Godzilla Minus One. Other major franchises, like if you look at like the DCEU and the Marvel Cinematic Universe, like these huge franchises are really suffering from franchise fatigue because they aren't allowing for experimentation, right? Whereas Godzilla has done that. Godzilla, I feel like, has found the sweet spot. Godzilla has found the correct brew, the correct cocktail to continue flourishing and demonstrating timelessness, that barrier being experimentation leading to that versatility. Anyway, share your thoughts in the comments below. Let me know what you think. Am I just losing my mind? It's possible. So anyway, click like, subscribe to my channel, and thank you as always for supporting my work. Take care. Bye.